In our series, 3 Meals, we travel to different states to break bread with voters and hear what's on their minds, what are they thinking. So this month, we went to the Iowa State Fair. A lot of people there, which wrapped up over the weekend. It attracted more than 1 million people to the state's capital of Des Moines, including more than a few presidential candidates. Political correspondent Ed O'Keefe has been going to the fair for more than a decade. You just heard him raving about the pork chop sandwich. He joins us now from Sioux City, Iowa. I've always wanted one of those. Ed, what'd you learn at the fair this time?
Oh, Gail, we learned so much, including you shouldn't have more than 1 pork chop a day, but we'll get to that later. Look, voters in this rural state have the first crack at deciding who might take on President Trump next year. So we talked to fairgoers about a wide range of issues, from health care to the environment to gun control, and found out that even some supporters of the president are open to a change.
The day at the fair begins early, as thousands who camp out overnight go in search of breakfast. We visited Hardin Brooks, where we met Democrats Dennis and Janet Hampton, who've been coming to the fair since they got married half a century ago.
I got a lot of friends that are Republicans, and they're saying the same thing. We got to work together now.
So whoever Democrats nominate, it's got to be somebody who's willing to work with Republicans?
That's right.
Both Hamptons are concerned about climate change, and they're turned off by the president's approach to immigration.
We're all immigrants, bar none.
Yeah. Your state has a reputation as being nice. You see all this fighting that goes on in Washington?
No, I could sit down and talk about it. Communication. Don't say Republican or Democrat.
Keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
Most eating at the fair happens on the go.
This is going to be good.
With more than 80 food items available on a stick. But the fair is also a display of Iowa's farming might. And one of the most popular sights is the famous butter cow, attracting tens of thousands of people each day.
About 85% of Iowa's land is used for agriculture. It exports about $10 billion in output each year, but that's been on the decline because of the fight over trade and tariffs.
Can I get a jumbo brisket? Jumbo brisket.
For lunch, we visited the Rib Shack, where we caught up with Georgia Gent, a farmer from Wellman, and her friend, Jane Ackerman.
One thing I've heard said, every time the president sends out one of those tweets about China or trade, a farmer is potentially losing thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, tens of thousands of dollars can be lost. If you're looking out for the country, if you're looking out for the family farmer, we don't need to have controversy like that. We market ours.
How the farmer does affects us as small business, big time. Yeah, if they don't have a good year, they're not going to be buying, you know, a $10,000 mower in the spring.
Ackerman and her family sell golf carts and lawnmowers in eastern Iowa. And while business is good, they're feeling the impact of the president's policies.
I know right now we're having huge problems getting parts to fix mowers. We can't fix it because we can't get parts, and that's hard, very hard.
Gent, a Democrat, likes former Vice President Joe Biden and Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, but she's keeping an open mind.
Before the election, I want to see everybody that I'm interested in.
I am a registered Republican,
okay. Yeah.
and I'm just ready for change.
Did you vote for him 4 years ago?
Yes, it is.
And he hasn't delivered necessarily?
I don't feel like he has.
Amid the throngs of people who come to this fair every year, about 24 people who want to be president. Were you here for any of the presidential candidates? Did you see any of them?
Yeah, I saw some, but I don't stop and listen to them.
Are you participating in the caucus in February?
Yeah, I love caucus.
Have you picked a candidate yet?
No. Any of the blue ones.
From one food stand, we followed Max Bertzos and his girlfriend Brett Deaton, young Democrats who support Medicare for all.
So you both have health care?
Yeah.
Yep.
Through work?
Yeah.
And you're willing to part ways with that?
Absolutely.
Right.
Through my job, I still have a $2,000 deductible. I'd rather pay some in taxes up front and know that I can go to the doctor whenever I feel like I need to.
Bertzos recently moved to Des Moines from Dayton, Ohio, and was shook by the recent mass shooting there.
That was 15 minutes away from my house. There's even a level of, I won't lie, waking up today and going like, okay, we're going to the fair later.
That something could happen here.
Yeah, it's really terrifying. I'm fairly firmly pro-gun control. At the end of the day, I think we got to try something, though, because doing nothing has just made it worse and worse and worse.
Fun at the fair continues well after dark with rides, live music, and beer. We grabbed a drink at this craft beer tent where we met a voter President Trump will need to keep if he hopes to win Iowa in November, conservative Phil Stanislaw.
I want somebody who's going to just tell it like it is. And you may not like what he tells, but he tells it the way he sees it.
And one voter the president may need to win back, soybean farmer Amy Stout, who says she supports the administration's tariff strategy.
He's rocking boats right now, Trump is, and I don't know if it's a bad thing, so I'm going to sit back and wait.
So you're open to voting for a Democrat even though you're a President Trump's corner?
Absolutely. I want to see someone that's going to change what happens in our farm community, our small business community, our health insurance.
Boy, do I love coming to Iowa. And not only important to come here because it's an early primary state, but because it's also a swing state in the general election. Barack Obama won here in 2008 and 2012 before, of course, President Trump defeated Hillary Clinton here in 2016. So it's an enticing target for whoever the Democratic nominee might be. It has just 6 electoral votes, but in a close election, those 6 could tip the scales.
All right, Ed, very well done. I think your trusty anchor team wants to take a field trip there to Iowa.
I want to take a field trip, Ed. I saw very few people of color. I think I saw a black guy in the background. You and I need to go to the fair together.
Well, Gail, I will tell you this. We couldn't walk 50 yards through that fair without people saying they watch us every morning. If the 4 of us showed up, we'd get mobbed.
Oh, I like those 80 food items on a stick did you try, Ed?
Only about 3 of them, Anthony.
Well, many elections still to cover.
Candied bacon.
I am game.
And the best?
Still recovering.
I am game. Thank you, Ed O'Keefe.
We appreciate it. We'll be there soon, I hope.